Hello, viewers. Welcome to our weekly live streaming series on Facebook. I am Sunday Adaji, legal officer with Lawyers Alert. This week, the topic we are treating this week is petty offenses, law, and justice. Petty offenses, law, and justice. Petty offenses refers to some things we do which the law prohibits and punishes anyone who does them. There are a lot of things we do which we never imagine to be a crime, but which our law prohibits and punishes offenders. Now, these laws, these petty offenses form part of the laws that are brought to us by the colonial masters. But presently, these laws are still part of our laws. And these laws are really causing grievous harm to the poor and the vulnerable in our midst. The African Commission on Human and People's Rights defines petty offenses as minor offenses such as being a rogue and vagabond, loitering, hawking, failure to pay debts, and disobedient to parents. The punishment prescribed by law includes imprisonment, fine, and sometimes community service. Examples of petty offenses are loitering, hawking, failure to pay debts, sex work, and so on and so forth. Now, talking about the laws under which we have criminal petty offenses, the first that comes to mind is the penal code. We have the penal code, we have the criminal code, we have the penal code laws of the states, we have the criminal code laws of the states. These laws contains provisions which criminalizes insignificant acts, some little things we do, which the law criminalizes as petty offenses. Now, there is also in Abuja, we also have the Abuja Environmental Protection Board Act, and this act also contains a lot of provisions bordering on petty offenses. For instance, under the Abuja Environmental Protection Board Act, failure to keep your undeveloped land in a built-up area, failure to keep it clean and tidy amounts to a criminal offense. Under this same law, when you dry your clothes, when you wash your clothes, and you dry it in front of your residential premises, it is a crime. When you rear animals or birds within your residential premises, it amounts to a crime. In Abuja also, when you are using firewood to cook openly within your premises, it still amounts to a crime. When you use your residential premises also for commercial purposes, under the AEPB Act, it is still a crime. And all these laws, violations of any of these laws I have mentioned so far, attract a fine of 500 naira or 3 months imprisonment or both. Further, under the AEPB Act, when you operate a grinding machine, it amounts to a crime. When you play music loudly, it amounts to a crime. When you ring a bell or you use loudspeaker to communicate to the public, it is also criminalized. Our law also criminalizes it as a crime. When you produce smoke or noise in a public place, it also amounts to a crime. And violation of this law, of any of these laws, attract a punishment of 1,000 naira fine or 3 months imprisonment or both. Still under the AEPB Act, when you locate your septic tank in a place not authorized by the law, or when you use any plot with any piece of land in Abuja as a burial ground other than the place authorized by the law, it amounts to a crime. And violation of this law attract a punishment of 500 naira fine or 3 months imprisonment or both. Under the same AEPP Act of Abuja, when you dispose waste in undesignated area, it amounts to a crime. When you dispose construction material, for instance, when you are constructing your building, and any other waste or debris left behind, if you fail to dump it in the designated area, it also amounts to crime. Under the same law, when you excavate sand, stone, laterite, or when you operate a quarry business without the written permission of AEPB, Abuja Environmental Protection Board, it also amounts to a crime. When you fail to cover your vehicle carrying sand, laterite, or construction material, it also amounts to crime. Violation of these laws attracts punishment of 5,000 naira or 6 months imprisonment or both. Now, under the same AEPB Act, when you operate equipment that pollutes the air, it amounts to a crime. When you burn tires, cables, or waste or refuse of any kind in Abuja, it amounts to a crime. When you sell fuel or other article in any unauthorized area, it also amounts to a crime. And violation of these offenses attract a punishment of 5,000 naira fine or 6 months imprisonment or both. Still under the Abuja Environmental Protection Board Act, when you pollute the water, the stream, the river, the lake with gamalin 20 or any other substance, it is a crime, and violation of this law attract the punishment of 5,000 naira or 6 months imprisonment or both. When you fail to maintain AEBP's dustbin and you fail to pay the prescribed waste disposal fee, it is also a crime, and violation of this law attract a punishment of 500 naira fine or 3 months imprisonment or both. Still under the APB Act, when you drive or park your car on a drainage slab, on a walkway, or on a landscaped areas, it amounts to a crime. When you walk across parks, garden, lawns, flower bed, or any landscaped area, it also amounts to a crime. When you graze animals in a nursery site, it also amounts to a crime. When you urinate or defecate in an unauthorized or open place, it also amounts to a crime. When you destroy flowers or ornamental plants, it also amounts to a crime. When you dry your agricultural produce by the side of the road, it also amounts to a crime. When you throw waste on any street in Abuja, it also amounts to a crime. These and many more constitutes what we call petty offenses, which our colonial masters brought to us, and which are still part of our laws till today. And many are being punished. Many are being punished for this. Many have served years of imprisonment as a result of these petty offenses. They were neither arraigned in court for trial, but were incarcerated in prison for months, for years, for little acts which our law termed as petty offenses. Now, looking at all the little acts that our law criminalizes, it is very clear that a lot of injustice is done in the course of implementing these petty offenses laws. The poor and vulnerable groups are at the receiving end. For instance, the use of firewood, which is prohibited, these are the source of fuel, source of energy for the poor and the vulnerable. And when they are caught using this firewood, they will definitely be arrested, remand in prison indefinitely, and these are the injustices we are talking about. So there's every need to decriminalize petty offenses. The African Commission on Human and People's Rights have, as a result of the grievous harm caused by petty offenses, have come out with a principle of decriminalization of petty offenses in all African countries. The project is still going on, and Lawyers Alert is also in support of decriminalization of petty offenses. The reason being that it worked hardship on the poor and vulnerable groups. Petty offenses, a lot of people have been imprisoned as a result of these petty offenses. There's also a lot of injustices done. For instance, for a slight offense, is meted with big punishment. A slight offense as washing your clothes and drying it in front of your own premises, not other people's premises, in front of your own premises, is criminalized as a crime by our law. For such little offenses, a person can go to prison. And the worst of it all is that when a person is taken to prison, remanded in prison, he may be in prison indefinitely, sometimes for months, for years, without being arraigned for trial. It is against this background that Lawyers Alert is also, coming up with advocacy aimed at decriminalizing petty offenses in Nigeria. Now, in the course of enforcement of petty offenses law, grievous harm have been done to Nigerians. The poor who are struggling to eke out a living are constantly arrested, remanded, exploited. Their goods are seized from them even after they have been exploited. Recently, in Abuja, a young man trading his goods on a flyover was running away to escape being arrested by the FCT Ministerial Task Force. In the process, he jumped off the flyover, fell down, and died. A lot of injustice has been done to the poor in the course of implementing petty offenses law. To this end, Lawyers Alert is advocating for decriminalization of petty offenses in Nigeria. Now, the way forward is law reform. To avoid human rights violation, injustice, and infliction of untold hardship on the masses, this petty offenses law must be expunged from our laws. These colonial laws given to us has caused grievous harm to Nigerians. And there's every need that these laws be expunged from our laws. So now, the outcome, when these laws are expunged from our laws, when these petty offenses laws are expunged from our laws, there's going to be a lot of changes in the society. That our prison will no longer be decongested, because statistics shows that greater percentage of prisoners awaiting trial are persons who were remanded on allegation of having committed petty offenses. Now, when these laws are expunged, when petty offenses laws are expunged from our laws, justice will prevail in the society. The rights of the poor and vulnerable will be respected. Law enforcement agents will start focusing on serious matters of security, of law and order, and of peace in the society. When these petty offenses laws are expunged from our laws, the lives, limbs, and liberty of citizens will be guaranteed. The abrogation of the petty offenses law will spark off development, because where there is peace, there will be security. Where there is peace, security, and order, there will be progress. And this is the aspiration of Nigeria, Nigerians, and the entire African race. Thank you for staying glued to this program. If you have any questions, feel free to send them to us. We will respond to your questions. And until next week, when we will be coming your way, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.